It's quite common that an Excel spreadsheet consists of dates and times in the one or the other way. We're entering birth dates, for instance, or timesheets to reimburse travel expenses. To use dates and times within formulas, it's important to understand how Excel stores and processes dates and times. This will be the topic of this video. The learning outcomes of this video are to understand the concept of Excel dates and the date serial number, learn the basics of times in Excel, use combined dates and times, and work with the date and time function. To work with dates and times properly in Excel, it's important to understand how Excel stores dates and times internally. In Excel, every date is stored as a serial number by counting the days since the beginning of the year 1900. This means that the 1st of January 1900 is day 1, the 2nd of January 1900 day 2, and so on. For the sake of completeness, let me mention that Excel makes a slight mistake when counting the days, which is, however, not really of relevance for our calculations with dates. Everyone who wants to learn more can Google for Excel leap year bug. At first glance, it may seem unlogical to number the days instead of storing a date format in form of days, months, and years. But there is a clear advantage of this approach. We can perform calculations with dates very easily. By subtracting two dates, we get immediately the number of days in between, or we can add 28 to get the date in 4 weeks' time. Let's assume that a student has registered for a term paper on the 19th of March 2020 and now has 90 days to complete the paper. With the help of Excel, we can easily calculate the submission date. We enter the registration date in cell B1. To show you that Excel actually saves dates as numbers internally, we don't enter the 19th of March 2020 as physical date directly, but 43,909 instead. Next, we select this cell and open the drop-down list in the number group of the Home tab. From here, we choose the predefined short date format, and instantly we see which date is represented by this number, the 19th of March 2020. This means that the number 43,909 is indeed representing this date. You might notice as well that maybe the appearance of the date format is a little bit different on your computer than on mine. If this occurs, it is due to different regional settings of your operating system. The date itself, however, is the same. If we assume that this date is the enrollment date for an assignment and we have now 90 days to complete our paper, we can calculate the due date of our paper by adding 90 days to the enrollment date. Obviously, our paper is due on the 17th of June 2020. Let's take a look at times next. The logic of storing times is pretty similar to dates. As every additional day is increasing the date serial number by 1, and as one day consists of 24 hours, times are expressed as a fraction of 1 day. Let's start by taking a look at an example. We enter, for instance, the time 11 o'clock 25 minutes and 36 seconds in an empty cell of our Excel sheet. Excel recognizes that this entry is a time and formats the cell accordingly. Next, we modify the format of the cell by choosing a number format, and we see the number 0.47611. Let's have a look why this number is equivalent to 11:25 and 36 seconds. As 1 hour is 1/24 of a day, it is equivalent to 1/24. A minute is consequently equal to 1/24 times 60, or 1/1440, as 1 hour consists of 60 minutes. A second is finally equivalent to 1/24 times 60 times 60, or 1 over 86,400, as a minute consists of 60 seconds. To get the serial number for our time example at 11 o'clock 25 minutes and 36 seconds, we calculate 11 times 1 over 24, plus 25 times 1 over 1,440, plus 36 times 1 over 86,400, which yields 0.47611. If we enter this number in an empty Excel cell and format it as time, we get 11 o'clock 25 minutes and 36 seconds again. To summarize our findings, dates are counted as the number of days which passed since the beginning of the year 1900, while times are expressed as a fraction of a day. If we take now the date serial number that is representing a certain date and add to it the fractional serial number of a time, we get a combined date-time format. Let's give it a try by using the date and time of our recent examples. The 19th of March 2020 is equivalent to the date serial number 43,909. Our time, 11:25 and 36 seconds, is stored as 0.47611. If we add up both numbers, we get 43,909.47611, which is equivalent to 11:25 on the 19th of March 2020. To get the right appearance, we open the drop-down list in the number group of the Home tab, select More Number Formats, and choose the Custom category and scroll through the type box until we find a combined date and time format. Press OK, and the date and time appears in our cell. The use of combined date and time formats is especially helpful when we are calculating with dates and times and a date change occurs. If we enter for a flight leaving on the 19th of March 2020 at 2300 UTC the combined date-time format in Excel and add a flight time of 2 hours, the date change is correctly considered and the arrival time is the 20th of March 2020 at 1 in the morning. The date and time function in Excel is helpful if Excel is not properly recognizing a certain content as a date or time. Let's take, for example, the timestamp in cell A2, which is a combination of date and time. The first 4 digits are the year, followed by 2 digits for the month and 2 digits for the day. The last 4 characters represent hours and minutes. To translate this cryptic timestamp into an Excel date and time, we can use the just mentioned functions. The first thing we need to do is to split the timestamp into its single components, which are year, month, day for the date, and hours and minutes for the time. To extract the year first, we use Excel's left function, which allows us to extract a specified number of characters from the left of a given text string. In our case, the text string from which we would like to extract something is positioned in cell A2, and the number of characters we need to extract for the year is 4. Let me remind you about the use of the right list separator, which we discussed in the previous video in detail. Next, we extract the month. As the month is positioned in the middle of our timestamp, we need to use the mid function. As the first argument, we enter the cell reference to our timestamp. The second argument is the position at which Excel should start extracting a substring, and the third argument are the number of characters to be extracted. In a similar way, we are extracting the day. Now we can enter the date function in cell E2. The date function requires as arguments the year, month, and day of the date for which the belonging date serial number is to be created. As we have just extracted these 3 values out of the timestamp, we only need to create the respective references, and we're done. Next, we extract the hours and minutes of our timestamp. We enter the time function in cell I2 and provide with the hours and minutes 2 of the 3 required arguments of this function. As we don't have any seconds, we leave the third argument empty. As an end result, we have derived a valid time and date out of a cryptic timestamp. These were just a few examples of calculations with dates and times in Excel. I would recommend that you practice a bit further by yourself. For example, you could calculate how long it will be until your next birthday. Thanks for watching this video.